So remember how the Bible basically tells us nothing about the childhood of Jesus? Except that sometime after he was born and visited by the Magi, Joseph was told by an angel to flee to Egypt with the boy. And then eventually they come back, but there's a new king reigning who they're afraid of, so they don't want to go to Judea, and instead they go to Galilee, and from Galilee they go to Nazareth. And therefore the prophecy is fulfilled that Jesus is called the Nazarene. This is Matthew 2, by the way. And then in Matthew 3, we go straight to the baptism of Jesus, with a teeny little mention of someone named John the Baptist. And just a little side note, John the Baptist is a super interesting character, so let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about him. But first, let's talk about Jesus' childhood in the Quran. Jesus in the Quran? What are you talking about, Ayaan? Muslims believe in Muhammad. They believe in Jesus too. They don't necessarily believe he was the son of God, but they do believe that he was a very important prophet. And in fact, his journey into prophethood begins as a child, when he starts performing miracles. The first one being the one we talked about, where he spoke at birth. But let's talk about a couple other ones and where the Quran potentially got them from. So there are two main ones that I want to talk about, and one of them is in the Quran, and one of them comes to us through At-Tabari, a Muslim scholar. Now the one in the Quran is one where Jesus is given a power that only God had. And that is the power to create life out of clay. So we all know how God made Adam out of clay and then breathed life into him. And that is a quality unique to God in the Bible. But in the Quran, Jesus has that power too. Jesus the child, or Isa the messenger of Allah, says, "I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, that I designed for you out of clay a figure like that of a bird. I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird." And then he goes on to list the other things that he's going to be able to do, like heal the blind and the leper, and magically know what you're going to eat tomorrow. But here's what's really interesting. The story of Jesus making birds out of clay also exists in the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, one of the non-canonical apocrypha, the books that were basically removed by the church for whatever reason. The Infancy Gospel says that Jesus makes 12 sparrows out of clay. And one of the children who see him do it go to his dad to tell on him. They go to Joseph like, "Mr. Joseph, Jesus is making birds out of clay and that's not allowed." And this was especially sinful because it was the Sabbath. So Joseph goes to Jesus like, "Baby Jesus, why are you trying to ruin the Sabbath for everybody?" But Jesus, being chill as fuck even as a baby, doesn't answer. He looks at the sparrow and he says, "Fly away, little sparrow. Remember me in your life." And as soon as he said that, the birds got up and flew away, and Joseph was astonished. Okay, so this took longer than I thought it would, as always. But what do you think? Why are the childhood miracles removed from the Bible? And why are they included in the Quran?